1-0. Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, and we got an incredible show for you. One of the most brilliant people in the car business. I mean, a man that has achieved so much in the car business. I couldn't get him, but I got Frank Lopes today. So anyway, it's going to be a really great show. But before I do that, I'm going to do a little housekeeping. I got to turn to the screen here on my left, and I'm going to make the broadcast public and put it on a couple other social networks. I'll try to entertain you while I'm doing that. Here's a little song I wrote. I'm going to sing it note by note. Don't worry. Don't worry, be happy. Da 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 da. Don't worry. Da 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 da. I'm working. Don't worry, be happy. Got no place to lay your head. Someone come and stole your bed. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Da 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 da. Don't worry. Da 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 da. Be happy. Okay, I got it all done. Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog. My guest today is Frank J. Lopes. Hello, Frank J.
Mr. Ziegler, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm in that Bobby McFerrin, don't worry, be happy mode, you know?
I know. It's a good thing, it's a good thing that your singing career didn't take off because the Beatles and the Stones and, all those guys from that era, they wouldn't have had a chance, to be honest. Good thing you took the other side of the music business and did the DJ thing instead of the singing thing. That was actually
asked me to go with Wings, but I didn't do it.
It was actually very kind of you to do that.
Yeah. It's amazing. Today's generation, that old generations, when Paul McCartney's daughter was dating, now this is sometime in the 90s.
Right. Uh-huh.
She brought home her new boyfriend date, and he meets Paul McCartney, and he says, "Yes, sir. Didn't you used to be in a band?"
Can you imagine saying that to Paul McCartney, but saying it with a straight face
and meaning it,
right? And then how does that feel for Paul McCartney, that you're like, you're basically the Jesus of contemporary, of current music, and somebody young doesn't know who you are. It's like, you want to talk about a reality check. It just shows
you used to be in a band, and I'm a Beatles fanatic. We're joking about singing in that music of that era, but I am a Beatles expert. I mean, when we have disc jockey competitions, when old disc jockeys get together for a reunion, and we've done that a couple times, I am unbeatable with Beatles questions.
What was the first Beatles song that you spun on the radio?
The first Beatles song that I spun was most likely "Love Me Do," because that was their first single.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was their first single. Ringo didn't play drums on that one. There were 5 Beatles drummers, actually.
How did Ringo get the gig?
Well, Pete Best, now you're going to like this. They threw Pete Best out of the group because he had kinky hair.
Okay.
He didn't.
Kinky, like curly, you're talking about,
yeah,
not straight like mine, right?
No, he couldn't do a Beatle haircut, so they threw him out of the group. Seriously.
Man.
Yeah. He was on What's My Line, and his thing was, I used to be a Beatles drummer. Different.
1 of 4, right?
1 of 5. I actually
totally different time. But look, Jim, I know we didn't get together today to talk about the Beatles. I know we didn't.
No, I'm just doing it while the audience builds up. Somebody, Andrea DeMarco Lopes, just showed up, and she says,
"Oh, you got to watch out for her."
She says she loves the Beatles. Rocky Raccoon is one of her favorites.
And that's the truth. Her and our little guy love Rocky Raccoon. They'd sing it together in the car all the time.
Somewhere in the Badlands, back behind the hills of Dakota, lived a young boy named Rocky Raccoon. One day,
of course, you know the
ran
words.
off with another guy. Yeah. Hey, Randy Tucker. Bill Schomburg's on the side over here. John Kirby, Patrick O'Brien. Oh, we're building up a little audience. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my friend Frank J. Lopes. And are you from
New Jersey?
I didn't know that, but
you know that, yeah.
FB Digital?
From FB Digital, right? FB Digital Marketing and Advertising Company in New Jersey, and we work with dealers all over the country. But I got to be honest, Jim, we're a little selective over who we work with, because I like to work with people that want to win and that want to grow and that want to really increase their business, but that want to do it the right way. I'm talking about people that invest, dealerships that invest in their people, dealerships that really have a long-term outlook, long-term, not just a 30-day outlook, not just living in the moment. I'm talking about that they want to build long-term success, long-term wealth, long-term blue sky, that they want to build things that are going to last for generations. That's my type of guy that I like to work with.
Where do you find those dealers?
They're few and far between.
I was going to say
they're few. I'm going to say it straight. Look, get more frank, right? So everything comes out straight. They're few and far between, but there's more. There are a lot more of them out there now than have ever been in my, in my many years, in my almost 30 years career in this business. There's more of them now than have ever been, because I know a lot of dealers are realizing that the deliverance of digital media and the savior of the click and all of that stuff that was sold to everyone coming from 2011, 12, 13, 14. I think everyone's starting to realize the ether's wearing off, and they're starting to realize, oh crap, I gotta actually know how to sell cars, and I have to actually know what my message is, and I have to actually define and execute on that message, on what I do and how I do it and why I'm here. And the click is not the savior, and the click is not going to save me.
Okay,
they realize that they got to do it themselves.
Okay, Frank says, Frank, do you work with dealer groups in Massachusetts?
I don't. I have worked with dealer groups in Massachusetts in the past. I don't have anybody up there currently, no.
Yes, I'm going back to Massachusetts. Oh, never mind. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so anyway, that's Sean mentioned. You might pay attention. Travis Flaherty's on the side. Susan Burkus DeMarco. No, I know her from somewhere.
You know her? I know her too. I know her too very well.
She said, we used to sing Rocky Raccoon on family vacation drives. The Beatles are still showing up on the sidelines here. I mean, you want to talk about digital marketing, and your family's over there talking about the Beatles.
They're talking about Rocky Raccoon, right? Yeah. That's okay. Well, look, that's in reality, that's okay, because if they don't want to talk about digital marketing, that's fine. That's not their jam. Everybody should be talking about what's interesting to them and what moves them and what gets them going. If some people, if it's selling cars and if it's about making money and if it's about that type of stuff, then that's great. Rock on with it. If you want to talk about Rocky Raccoon, man, we'll talk about that all day too. Why not?
Do you smell crawfish and cayenne pepper?
Do I smell crawfish and cayenne pepper? No.
Damian Boudreaux just showed up.
but Jim, wait a second. I'm on a little bit of a delay with the reactions in the comments, so I'm starting to catch a little bit of Louisiana. Yeah. A little bit of Louisiana now. Better watch. I might start picking up the accent too. Maybe I should watch on my phone. Maybe I should watch on my phone while this is going on, so I can stay live, right?
Yeah, we got Travis Flaherty, Randy Tucker. We're building a pretty good audience up. CJ Romick says your hair is freaking on point.
My hair is on point. You know what? You know what, Jim? Let's talk about this. And since CJ brought it up, because I happened to be driving yesterday and I got my notification on my phone that popped up and it said James Ziegler is live. Click here to watch. So I click to watch and I see you. I see two of my bestest friends. I see you and Glenn Lundy on the screen at the same time. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know this was going to happen. This is awesome. I can listen to two of my buddies talk together while I'm driving home. And I click it to open up. It feeds through the Bluetooth in my phone. And I hear you two guys talking smack about my hair.
Yeah,
I hear somebody. I don't.
If there was ever a nuclear war, your hair would remain intact.
That was it. That
Yeah.
was it. So you guys are talking about my hair. I know some of that comes from jealousy and some of that comes from envy. I get it. Okay. I understand. I get it. I get it. It's okay. No big deal. No big deal. But that segues into a really good point, because you said, I don't know how long Frank spends on his hair every day, right?
Yeah.
Must spend a good amount of time. So let's talk about that now. And I don't want to really talk about my hair. I want to talk about how this segues out and what the principle of this is, because
You're tie your hair into digital marketing.
No, I'm gonna segue my hair into life. I'm going to segue my hair into life, because that's really what I want to talk about today, and that's what I want to share with everybody. And this is one of the things that I'm going to be talking about at Internet Battle Plan. But let's not put the cart before the horse here now. So let's just stick on what's important.
He just said so.
Brian Hoskins better be coming to Internet Battle Plan, and have a talk with him tomorrow about him showing up.
Him and Bradford.
Him and Bradford. So so let's get back to the important topic. Let's get back to my hair. Okay.
Yes,
this is very important
topic. Yes.
So hear me now. Everybody that's watching live, if you're watching on the replay, this is the part that you really want to pay attention to. Okay. And the fact, everybody says, oh, it must take you forever to do how long does it take you in the morning to get your hair like that? It must take you hours. You must use a ton of product and sticky shit in your hair and everything.
Oh yeah, a lot of product.
The fact
you are singularly responsible for the hole in the ozone layer.
But okay, so that is actually not true, because I only use a very small amount of product. Okay. And it takes me no longer than 3 minutes to put this together in the morning. And the reason that it only takes me less than 3 minutes is because anybody who has a good haircut knows it's the cut that makes the difference. Okay. It's not what's done every single day when you're putting it in. It's all the way back. It goes all the way back to the design. It goes back to the design. It goes back to what the barber actually executes on your hair when he cuts it, which segues me out to the fact of that there are so many of us in life. There are so many people, especially in the automotive industry. There are so many of us that are looking for that magic product. They're looking for that magic pomade. They're looking for that special hair dryer. They're looking for that special brush or comb. They're looking for that particular thing to get them to the outcome that they want, not realizing that they have to take it all the way back to the beginning, and they have to go back to the design. The
Jerry curl.
Back to Jerry curl. The lack of design is where the problem kicks in. The lack of planning, the lack of proper goal setting, the lack of actually knowing where you want to wind up. You don't go to the barber and just sit down and say, I want a cool haircut, and just sit there. You're going to get a crummy haircut. You're going to get whatever the barber wants. Basically, that's what's going to kick in. You have to have an idea of what you want. You have to have a plan. You have to have a purpose, and you have to be able to define that purpose and convey that out to the person who's actually executing. And in our business, Jim, the definition of purpose, the definition of goals, the definition of what I want to do generally ends at, well, I want to sell more cars. That's selling more cars is not a goal. Selling more cars is not something that you want to obtain. It's a byproduct. This haircut is a byproduct, okay, of conversations with my barber, and my barber, his skill and knowing exactly what he wants to do to make it come out this way each and every single time. It's done by design. Automotive industry people, where's your design? What are you trying to do? Most people in life, where is your design? Your design's not there. You're drifting. You're drifting from one day to the next. In the automotive industry, we drift from 1 month to the next. And then a month turns into a quarter turns into a year. And next thing we know, we had a shitty year and we can't figure out why. It's because when January came, or the day that you just, on a Tuesday, you just said, well, I want to sell more cars. And you just looked for the next magic product. You just looked for the next Jesus to come with this thing that they said to you on this plate is here is your answer. This is going to sell you more cars. And they handed it to you and they took your money from underneath. And then 60 days later, you're looking at that contract saying, what do I got to do to get out of this? Was this got a 30-day out on it? Yeah, let's cancel that.
Yeah. So anyway, right now, the entire world is in retraction. We're in contraction. Business is not what it was 6 months ago, a year ago.
No.
So the dealers are having to work harder to stay where they were. And there's a lot of panic starting to happen in the market.
Yes.
And I've seen this panic cycle. I've been 43 years in the car business. I've seen the panic cycles and I've watched them do it. And I've seen the winners and the losers. And if you're going to do business in the next couple of years, you're going to have to take that business away from a competitor that has that business.
Yes, absolutely.
That hasn't been the case. A lot of people in Toyota dealerships thought they were really achieving something. But the truth of the matter is, if you got a Honda dealership or a Toyota dealership, you could put a chimpanzee out in the lot with a note in his mouth and sell 20 cars a month.
Pretty much. The brands that have what I call natural demand, right? Where there's going to be a certain amount of demand in the marketplace for that particular Toyota RAV4 or that particular Honda CRV, right? For the last few years, let's just say since 2012, that business has been somewhat easy because of natural demand. A lot of that business, the dealers who got that business were the ones who were smart enough, at least, to, when the factory said, take this many cars, they took them and they had them. It had absolutely nothing to do with the fact of how they took care of customers, the extras that they offered, what they stood for, what their process was, or anything. It came down to just 100% of a transactional activity. That was it. The transactional activity it's not cutting it now. It probably hasn't cut it for about the last, what do you think, Jim? 6 to 8 months, maybe even a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
And it sure as hell is not going to cut it going into 2020. That transactional mindset is not going to cut it. Every single dealer out there, everyone who's watching live, if you're watching on the broadcast, and we're going to talk about this at Battle Plan at length, right? The transactional model is not going to work. Everybody has to start to think to themselves like they're an independent dealer, and this isn't disrespectful to any brand whatsoever, they're going to have to think of themselves like they're a Kia dealer, or like they are a Hyundai dealership, or that like they're a Buick GMC dealership, where they're selling vehicles that are not exactly in the highest of demand, where people are coming in and they're asking, do you have a blue RAV4? Do you have a black CRV? Do you have a black Outback? Those customers, even those guys, are going to be fewer and far between. It is going to come down to, what is your goal? What are your plans? What does your dealership stand for? What in the world do you want to do? And how can you continually improve? The whole concept of competition, man, take that thing, crunch it up and throw it away. The number one person that everybody that's involved in this industry, the thing that they should be concerned with when it comes to competition is competing with themselves. how can they get better? How can they streamline their process? How can they be of more value to the customer? How can they be more appealing to the customer? What do they do that's different than everybody else? If you don't got that and you're just going to ride on, I'm going to discount all my prices online, I'm out there, I'm going to load myself up with inventory, you're going to go the way of the Bill Hurds, all those guys. Jim, you remember those guys in 07, 06 who were walking around like this, who were like, oh, I'm selling 1,000 cars a month. I'm indestructible.
Bill Hurd was paying me $60,000 a month in 06.
How much did he pay you in 09?
Well, let me tell you the story.
Go ahead.
Bill Hurd was selling 17,000 new Chevrolets. I mean, 17,000 a month.
Mr. Big Volume.
Mr. Big Volume. That doesn't count how many used he was selling.
Right.
That was, I think, 19 stores. So 17,000 units a month. And he came to me and we talked in 2006. Debbie used to straighten his tie at the conventions, and old Mr. Hurd, he was a pretty good old guy. And he says, Jim, you told me you could fix my dealerships. I said, yes, I can, but I got to have unlimited authority. And he flew me around with two of his vice presidents. Because I didn't want to fire his people. I wanted them to fire him. And it was kind of too late, but the state attorney generals did not put Bill Hurd out of business. Floor Plan did. You know, a floor plan, when the economy turned south, Floor Plan killed the Bill Hurd organization. But, you know, we talk about customer satisfaction, and I'm going to tell you, I don't believe customer satisfaction is solely a reason why a customer buy another car from you.
No, absolutely not. It's not the only reason.
People don't know when they're satisfied.
Most of the time,
know when they're dissatisfied.
Right. Most of the time, a customer won't realize that they're satisfied until way after the process is complete. After they've taken delivery, we're talking 2-3 weeks or months after the fact. But if they don't like something that's going on, they know that really quick.
They only know when they're dissatisfied. That's why most reviews are negative.
Right.
Because people don't actually run out to give you a positive review. They act out of anger. They act out of frustration. That's why so many reviews you see are negative reviews.
Right.
Like when I spoke at the J.D. Power Roundtable 10 years ago, and J.D. Power, Dave Power, was sitting right in the third row, and I'd already said he was a communist, and here I am speaking his event. And I said, look, I woke up this morning in a Ritz-Carlton. Everybody knew my name. The food was extravagant good. The everything smelled nice. People called me by my name. The towels were so fluffy you couldn't barely shut your suitcase. Still.
Jim, you've never stolen a towel out of a hotel now. Come on.
Ritz-Carlton, maybe. But anyway, I didn't wake up this morning and say, damn, I'm satisfied. Even though I was treated that well. People don't know when they're satisfied. They only know when they're dissatisfied. That's right. They only know when you have crossed them, when you have hit their emotions. And it's the last impression. When I was working with Lynn Hickey Dodge, and I'm going to take it away from you for a second here. When I worked with Lynn Hickey Dodge in Oklahoma City, I'll never forget the first time I went I was in the cab, and the cab driver was making small talk. He said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm here to see Lynn Hickey Dodge." "Oh, those people are crooks." "Really?" "Oh, yeah."
Like that, right? Like that.
Cab driver. I thought he was going to slam the brakes on the middle of the interstate. "Those people are crooks." "Really?" "Yeah, they do this and they do that, and they won't let you out of the dealership till you buy a car, and they do it." He said, "Look, I bought 3 cars there. I know."
But he bought 3 cars there.
He bought 3 cars there. When you talk about the process and the customer experience, I'm going to say to you, I believe it's the customer's last experience before they leave that is more important than the experiences in the middle.
Oh, absolutely, because it's the it's the last experience that they remember and that they hold on to. A lot of things, like look at our conversation, for example. There's a lot of things that go on every time we get on the phone, Jim. You and I. It's we got to get a comfortable chair and maybe something to drink because it's going to be at least an hour or so. That we're talking, and I know. And I know you for years, and I know that I'm not the only person who shares that sentiment. I know that if you're going to get on the phone with Jim, if Jim calls you, you best be prepared to take a long phone call, right? Because there's going to be a lot of good conversation, and you're going to walk away with something at the end of the conversation. But most of the times, Jim, it's what we talk about at the end of the conversation that stays with me. It's the last, if we talk for an hour, it's the last 5 to 3 minutes that sticks the most. Everything else I have to write down if it's particulars. And that's going to happen with every single like what time am I speaking? What day is battle plan? I got to write that stuff down. But that's with all of our experiences. I mean, I think that's why dessert is last, because restaurants will send people out on a sugar high, saying that the place was absolutely fantastic instead of like, how was the soup? There's just, you don't hear people raving very much about how good soup is in restaurants, but man, they will tell you how good dessert and coffee. Oh, that place had the best coffee. They had the best espressos I have ever had in my life. Oh, that pie, or that pie, or that they made this bananas Foster. Is that a dessert? Bananas Foster's? I just made that up. They had this bananas Foster that was so. Oh, you have to
hear all that. Yes, you do.
You don't hear nothing but they had this chicken soup that was so good. Jim, this diner down the street from your house had chicken soup that nobody says that. Who cares about the chicken soup? Nobody talks about it.
Frank. It's not just the customer experience. Everybody is working on customer experience. It's about the uniqueness of your customer experience. What's different about you?
Absolutely.
What is unique? And people don't have a dealership culture. We talked about culture yesterday with Glenn Lundy.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, having a culture, and number two, getting that culture expressed to the consumer where they understand what's happening.
Let's talk about this for a moment, if we will, sir. It's your show. Yeah. I don't want to take over or anything.
No. You are the honored guest. I mean, yeah, I invited you on. Besides your knowledge, besides your hair.
Besides the hair, I'm glad I've got something else going for me besides the hair, because as you can see, it's already turning gray, and one day it's going to be gone. But I think I did not hear your full conversation with Glenn yesterday regarding culture, but you and I are going to have our own conversation about it right now, because I think that a lot of people in our industry, we throw that word culture out there, and then it suddenly becomes something that the dealership body feels that they have to get. Like a carrot, for example, like, on your shopping list is, I got to get carrots, I got to get peppers, I got to get this and that. And you go to the produce section, you grab carrots, and you cross it off. I believe
what is culture? A mold in a lab jar? What?
Exactly. So a lot of these dealers go and they get back to their store and they sit by themselves in their office or their home at night, or in the shower or whatever, and they're scratching their head and they're saying, "Oh, so and so said I got to get some culture. I got to get culture. What does that mean?" And then they start thinking that they have to do things like they have to have symphony orchestras come to the dealership or some kind of crap like that. And they don't understand that culture is something that's organic in the dealership. That culture comes, that old saying, the fish stinks from the head down, right? That's your definition of culture. If you're the dealer, if you're the dealer principal, if you're the general manager, if you're the dude or girl who is in charge, if you are the one who signs the check, dudette, if you're the dude or dudette and you're the one who signed, his name is on the bottom of the check, you're the executive manager, you're the whatever, you're the person who calls the shots in the store. Here's the bottom line of the whole thing. If you are a nasty person, If you are a money grubbing type of person, if all you care about is the profit of the dealership, not saying that profit is not important, profit is extremely important, but if that's the only thing that you care about and the only thing that drives you is how many vehicles are sold and how much gross is generated out of the service department, your culture is going to stink. That type of culture is going to go all the way from the head down, and it's going to go all the way down to the bottom. It's going to go all the way, and these people are not on the bottom because this is what I did, but it's going to go all the way down to the porters, to the guys that come in to sweep your floor, to polish the floors in the showroom at night. It's going to go all the way down to the people that take out the trash, everything from the top down. You know why Glenn Lundy can talk about culture the way that he does? Why people like Eric Gale, who's also speaking at Battle Plan, why he can speak about culture the right way? Because these are people, these are individuals of quality. And there are a lot more of them out there, not just Eric and not just Glenn, who happen to be speaking at Battle Plan. There's a lot of people out there. There are people that go all the way back and think about that exact same thing of my haircut metaphor from before. They're the ones who are architecting. I want this to look this way. I want to make sure that this goes on when a customer visits our dealership. I want to make sure that when somebody calls this dealership, that the phone is answered in this manner, that they feel welcomed, that they call, that they feel happy that they called us. That when they call us, that they know that they just called the place. When they come into our dealership, that they're talking to our people, and our people are the ones. They are the guys, they are the gals that you come to when you need anything to do with your car. And they make sure that that feeling comes organically through everybody, and it starts with them. A lot of people that throw that culture buzzword out, their culture is crap. They're just, if you're a crappy person, your dealership is going to have a crappy culture. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Do you know Rory Vaden?
No.
Rory's a professional speaker, good friend of mine. He always talked about take the stairs as his keynote speech. But
right. Mm-hmm.
One thing Rory says that sort of parallels what you just said. If you suck in person, you will suck online.
Yes.
Absolutely. If you suck in person, your processes will suck, your dealership will suck. I mean, suck is contagious.
Yeah. And Jim, how many times have we seen that? What Rory said, that's his name, Rory, right? Not Roy.
Yeah.
How many times did we see what Rory said work now in the reverse, where we see people online and they have a certain image, they have a certain message or whatever, and you meet them in person and they suck.
Okay, they have a great online persona. They make great videos. They're friendly people, and you meet them in person, and
you want to run.
Or they're professional like you and I. We speak at the events. And how many people have become such celebrities in their own mind to come in through the back of the stage and leave through the back of the stage?
Yeah, exactly. They do the Elvis. They do the Elvis. Elvis has left the building and stuff like that. And my point in saying that is that let's take that perspective right now, because I know everybody that's watching live and everybody that's watching on the replay, everybody just thought of at least 3 people that fell into that mold. Of somebody who looks great online, you meet them in person, and you want to take a shower after you wash their hand. Okay. Now take that perspective and talking about culture and everything, work it into the dealership environment, work it into the automotive retail environment. A customer goes and stumbles across your website. How, I don't want to talk about, who cares? That's not the important part. They stumble across your website. They go on the website and they see all of these messages of all this stuff about pictures of you and your people, and they're all standing there with their thumbs up and everything, and they have all the cars have these dramatic discounted prices, and you go and you see that you can buy a $50,000 pickup truck for $99 a month, all this type of stuff. It looks like, oh, this is the place I got to go, and you go there and it's the complete opposite. You can't find the $50,000 pickup that you can buy for $99 a month. The prices are all everything changes. Or the worst one, and I've used this example many times. I'm going to use it again because it's so good. Or they go on the website and it says that there's a sale. That there's some type of a sale. There's a big inventory closeout sale or blowout sale or whatever. And you go into the dealership and it looks
no sign of a sale.
No friggin' nothing. There's nothing. The dealership looks exactly the same way it did on August 30th as it did on April 30th. No, exactly the same. Our industry is the only industry where I have seen that take place as regular course of business.
No point of sale materials that reflect a sale.
Nothing. So immediately the customer comes in under the perception that there's some type of an event and some type of a sale going on. There's imagination. There's this great thing happening that the dealer planted in their head.
You're wrong. We got balloons.
Oh, well, and don't forget the Fly Guys.
We got balloons and a gorilla.
You know I love the Fly Guys, right?
It's wavy arm guy.
Yeah, the wavy arm. I used to call them Fly Guys back.
The wavy arm guy and the blue gorilla on the roof. Come on, I have seen people stand on their brakes when they saw those balloons
and pull right in and just take $40,000 like this and just say, "Give me whatever car you want. I don't care. Here's my money."
I got to pitch something here in a second. It's cool. There is a dealer in my market, and I don't know these people. Beaver Toyota.
Okay. With the name alone, but okay.
The spokesperson is Linda Beaver, and she's the dealer. And you talk about a personable, friendly. I mean, if you watch, I'm sure their TV commercials are probably on YouTube or whatnot, but you talk about a culture building persona. This woman has got stage presence. She's got persona. She's got friendliness. She's got just seeing the Beaver Toyota commercials makes me want to go buy a Toyota from them at that location. Beaver Toyota, I think it's Cumming, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that and I just went, wow. And the only reason I see it because they run every night on Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
Just before Jeopardy, you know. Mm-hmm. Two of my favorite intellectual pastimes. You know? Hey, we got Wes Moon, we got Daniel Bailey, we got Mark Lodzik.
Everybody watching live, don't forget, hit the share button. Hit that share button right now. You're going to want to get this out to as many people as you possibly can. Don't be selfish, Mr. Ziegler, and my conversation right now. We only just getting started. We're only getting warmed up. Okay, so it's not a bad. It's only just, so it's not a bad thing that you didn't hit the share button yet, but the excuses are over because now I done told you. Hit that share button. Don't be selfish. Your mama would hate it if she knew that you weren't sharing with other people. So hit that share button. Make sure that we can get this out to as many people as possible because Jim and I are about to talk about an event that's coming up very, very near future that you are going to want to make sure that everybody that you know knows that this is going on so that they can attend. Jim, I can't.
Life changer.
I can't do it any better than that, Jim. So go ahead, take over.
Okay, Jason Rice said no soup for you.
No soup for no soup. Oh, no soup for me. That's right. No soup for you.
Okay, now Daniel Bailey says your goatee looks blue.
It looks blue. It might be the light, actually.
It's got to be the light. Absolutely.
It could be the light. Let me see if I can control that a little bit. Do I look less blue? Right. Oh, maybe it's the shirt reflecting up. I don't know.
I have no idea. Chris Hill's on the sidebar. Bill Schomburg. Got a Cheryl Lynn. Stephen Cruz.
We got a lot of good people on the show right now. Everybody hit the share button. Don't forget, hit that share button. And another thing that you're going to want to share is you're going to want to tell everybody about Internet Battle Plan coming up. You got enough time to plan this out and still attend. Okay. But it's coming up.
It's quickly.
It's going to be quick, especially with the holiday coming up. It's going to be September. It's just about here. And this is September 9th and 10th at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia, downtown Atlanta, one of the most fantastic and most beautiful hotels. It's worth going just to stay in the hotel, but one of the best hotels in downtown Atlanta, the Atlanta Marriott Marquis Internet Battle Plan, September 9th and 10th. The people that are going to be speaking at Battle Plan are people that, look, I'm going to tell you straight, most of the people on this roster can easily demand 5 figures to speak for 1 hour somewhere, and you would pay in excess of $1,000 to go and see them speak. So the fact that Jim has so much leverage and has photos of all of us doing things that we don't want anybody seeing, and he gets all of us to come and speak here is such, it is such an opportunity for each and every one of you to learn so much in such a concentrated period of time. There are so many things about Battle Plan that I love. And Jim, I speak at, way too many conferences to mention in the automotive industry and out of the automotive industry. I MC even more, and so I see what goes on at these other conferences. I know the way that they're run. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but what I am saying is that there is something very special about Battle Plan. From the first one that I ever attended, and I spoke at the first one that I attended, so I went right in, I went baptism of fire, right, Jim, right onto the stage, and
yeah, it's different. It's different.
The whole thing is that
forget anything you know about other conferences.
Yeah, and we in no way, shape, or form are we looking to talk bad about anything else. Everybody else does their own thing, different formats that works for certain people. It's fantastic. That's great. God bless him. Me personally, and I know Jim personally as well, so I'm going to speak for him. We wish nothing but success and fortune and good things to everybody and everything that they're doing. But at the same time,
one, no,
but there's something special that goes on at Battle Plan. The fact of the togetherness, the fact of, general session speakers, every single attendee gets to see every single speaker. Okay. You get to invest as much. One big room. And that's a whole nother thing. Everybody's together the whole time. The amount of camaraderie, the amount of friends and I'm talking about like lifelong friends that I have made through Battle Plans of the past, the friends that still last today.
You've been accused of being a cult experience. People become lifelong friends.
Yeah, because honestly, a lot of people don't understand what goes on at an Internet Battle Plan conference until you're actually there and you're in the room and you feel the energy. Literally the energy, and you feel the togetherness and everybody's bonded together. And then, you get a speaker up there. You get a speaker up there who is delivering the message. And hitting you right between the eyes with what you want. I see people that they can't write fast enough. They can't write the notes fast enough. They've got to take their phone and start recording.
Every aspect of internet sales, marketing, SEO, SEM. We're going to talk about phone skills. We're going to talk about BDC diva, Bobby Heron. We got the video diva, the YouTube diva, Elise Kephart. We've got SEO, SEM. We've got digital marketing agency. We got, my God, Eric Gale. We've got Glenn Lundy. We got the Dawg himself. It's Kerry Wise.
The people that know what they're talking about in the automotive industry are the only ones that are at Battle Plan. It's that simple. It's that hands down, because Jim, it took me years to be able to speak at Battle Plan. Years. I didn't just like submit an application or make a phone call or write a check and suddenly I'm there. Yeah, you got to know what the hell you're talking about, and you got to earn your stripes to be able to speak, to speak at any time at Battle Plan, much less to be the opening speaker or much less to be in one of the key spots. I mean, you got to really earn your stripes just to be able to even get on the stage. So, another thing, Jim, another thing that I love about Battle Plan is the amount of accessibility. Somebody, a speaker goes up, and they say something, and of course, look, every speaker is limited to 45 minutes, and Jim and Debbie run that clock like military time. Okay, so you got to be that. If you get 46 minutes on stage at Battle Plan, you got a gift. Flat out, you got a gift. You go 47 minutes, you're never speaking at Battle Plan again. It's over, right? But the thing that's great, and what I noticed and what I love as a speaker, what I love is that you got 45 minutes. You can't touch on everything. It just becomes impossible to get deep on every single thing that you want to talk about at an event like this. So the accessibility, the fact that like you finish speaking, you pack up your stuff, and then you're there. And people can come up to you, and people do, which is fantastic, which I love. They come up to you when they're like, "Hey, what did you mean about this?" Or, "Hey, I've been trying to do this, but I can't get past this one piece." Or, "I keep getting stumped on this," or, "I can't find good salespeople," or, "I can't get out of my own head," or whatever it is. And the attendees, the fact that they have that much accessibility, and nobody on this speaker list, I know just about everybody who's speaking personally, there isn't one person on this speaker list who's going to do the Elvis has left the building and I'm done, and here's my business card and you can sign up for $9.99 a month and maybe I'll talk to you. No, it's not like that. I mean, these people will sit down with you at your table and answer whatever questions, or go outside and out in the hallway and answer your questions, or go sit in the lobby and dig into it with you. And if it means that you get together later on, that's great, no problem. But they will dig into your problems with you right there on the spot. That's one of the things that's very hard to get at other conferences, because Elvis leaves the building.
I am so appreciative of friends like yourself, people that know the conference and have been to other conferences and seen what's out there. Debbie and I have been doing this. This is Battle Plan 26. I mean, I've been doing conferences since 1986.
Yeah.
We've evolved with the industry. We brought it along, and Debbie Ziegler does the menu. The food's good.
The food's great. The desserts are great. The last time they had these little pastries, I remember in the afternoon break, that were so good, right? But Jim, look, I have to ask you a question. And this just popped into my mind, and it's very, very important, because I know you personally, and I'm about to embarrass you a little bit, but I do it with love. I don't do it with malice, okay? You were extremely successful in your entire career, okay? You're extremely successful, and you did not waste your money when you made it. So I know that you have enough money to live the rest of your life very comfortably, with no issues with anything. You could do whatever you wanted every single day, buy what you want, go where you want, do whatever you want. Yet you're on number 26 and you have no thought whatsoever of stopping. Why in the world do you keep doing this? If you don't need to do it, if you don't need to do it to pay the bills or anything like that, then what the hell do you keep doing this for?
I'm in my legacy years. I've been in the car business 43 years.
Yeah, but Jim, your legacy is built. Like, it's done. You're living.
But I'm still helping people.
There you go.
I'm still helping people. I mean, my gosh. I mean, some of the things I do behind the scenes, and I don't want to get into self-aggrandizement. I don't want to tell you all the things I do and things I've done, but I've helped a lot of people with things that they needed in the business, calls I could make, things I could do, connections I could make. I've helped a lot of people as little as 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie B. Cooper was a good friend of mine, if you know who that was.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, he was a business friend. He wasn't somebody hung at my house. I didn't hang at his house. You and I have had dinner with our families together, but I didn't even go that far with Jackie. But Jackie and I communicated often. Jackie died broke because he never rewrote the book. After 25 years of training, he was teaching out of the same book, the same concepts. The concepts changed. The waves rolled to the beach, and there was a new wave, and he didn't catch the new wave. And I made a commitment that wasn't going to be me. And I want people to speak well of me 50 years after I'm gone.
Yes.
And there's people out there. Everybody's got their haters. Everybody's got their haters. I don't think you're going to find a human being on earth that's going to say, Jim Ziegler, I could take him or leave him.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, we know it. We know exactly what we need. You and I've talked about that. So yeah, it's about my legacy. It's about, I want people to speak well of me. I want people to say, man, he helped me. That's important to me. And we CJ Roaming was on here earlier. CJ?
Yes, of course.
I've trained CJ since he was a salesman, since he was a green pea.
Right. You see? And he's still around.
He and I had desk deals side by side in Denver when he was with Beaux-Arts Chevrolet. And he can tell you that the day I set the all-time record for the store on their sales desk. And then when I was consulting Motorworks in Barrington, Illinois, I brought him from Denver to Chicago.
Oh, that explains how we got there now.
Were you aware of that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I brought CJ to Chicago. So, you look at people whose lives that are intertwined with mine. I mean, I can tell you 10 dozen war stories like that of people that I've helped some way in their career, that I've pulled along, that I've developed them. And, there are dealers today that I've trained since they were green peas. John Bleakley retired 2 weeks ago, and he was coming to my seminars when he was 17.
Oh my God. My God.
I look at a successful dealer. Now he's retired. And I've got story after story, and I look at some of the people I know and some of the people that have passed. It's amazing. I'm training third generations of people right now. Like we got in Battle Plan, some of the Sansing people are coming from Sandy Sansing.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And Sandy Sansing is a big dealer in the panhandle of Florida. Sandy and I go back 30 years. Now I'm doing business with his son, David Sansing. And, that story goes on and on and on.
And you see, Jim, that's my point. And that's the point that I'm trying to get through to everyone who's watching. If you're watching live or watching on the broadcast, this is exactly my point of why I asked Jim this question. It's because he doesn't need to do this. That's not so the motives of putting this conference together, of who was selected to speak, of even of who's sponsoring, okay, of even the people that are sponsoring, because this is a business. So, and you can't do these things. There is not going to be a big red cross painted on the roof of the Atlanta Marriott Marquis on September 9th and 10th. No, that doesn't work. They want the Marriott Marquis wants their money. Okay. So of course the event does need to generate revenue, but it's not just write a check and show up and your check gets taken. That's not the way that this works. Jim is even particular about who is sponsoring the event and who's could be soliciting business at the event as well, because he realizes that it's a direct reflection back on him. So there is something special that goes on at Battle Plan that I can't put into words, that even Jim, the originator of the event himself, and I'm sure if we got Miss Debbie sat down and we asked her what's different, she would even hesitate. She would hesitate, not because she doesn't know that it's different, but because it's very hard to put into words. It's an event that you absolutely have to attend. Like, you have to physically be in the room, and you have to physically feel that the energy that goes on. Like, Jim, I'm thrilled. I am absolutely thrilled beyond belief. Number one, that I'm speaking at Battle Plan again. I think it's my 5th or 6th Battle Plan in a row that I'm speaking at. But the thing that I'm really excited about is the fact that I'm going to be opening it up on day one. I mean, because of the fact that as a speaker, you have to, you know, that like as soon as you come out, it's very easy for the energy of the room to go from whatever to zero like that quick, because now there's a new face on the stage. So everybody within that first 45 seconds of when you're speaking, that first 45 seconds, everybody in the audience is evaluating you and coming up with some type of a judgment of you of, is he good? Does he know what he's talking about? Does she look okay? Do I understand what he or she is saying? Right. But when you're first and you've got that kind of
You've got to
energy,
Glenn Lundy. You've got to introduce Glenn Lundy.
And I have to introduce Glenn Lundy coming up after me. So, I mean, the amount of momentum and the amount of
game, pal.
Oh, I have been preparing for Battle Plan. This is something else I want to say, a little self-promotion here, because I really have no idea how to do that, right? So a little self-promotion. You know, I have been preparing for Battle Plan for months, literally for months, for the presentation that I'm going to give, the opening presentation leading into the day one morning keynote of Glenn Lundy speaking. My presentation, all I can say is, when you come to Battle Plan, number one, do not be late on day one. You do not want to be late, because
I've asked the local people to please check in the hotel Sunday night. Don't try to drive in traffic.
Yeah, absolutely, because traffic downtown can be an absolute nightmare, especially on 75 and stuff. So you do not want to get involved in any of that. Not to mention that the discount that Jim and Debbie worked out with the hotel, because I have stayed at the Marriott Marquis in downtown Atlanta many times. And yeah, I have never stayed for anything less than $220 some odd every single time, and now Jim and Debbie were able to negotiate that down to under $170 for a night. It's worth it just to go for the experience of staying at the place. I already said that before, but
great restaurants, great downtown area, a lot of things to do. Let's get down to it a second, because we've almost been on an hour, big guy.
That happens when we get together, man. We just start going, and that's it every time.
Battle Plan. The website is internetbattleplan.com. I've got it on the screen. The hotel discount expires tomorrow at close of business. So you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision right now. And if you're going to come, we've already got a great crowd. I mean, we'd miss you if you don't show up, but we got a wonderful crowd showing up already. Dealers and general managers, no charge.
There's you just ran out of excuses, people. You just ran out of excuses. Dealers and general managers come at no charge whatsoever. I mean, come on now. It's worth it just to come and mooch the food for the day. Come on.
And the cocktail reception, we got Dan Oblenkowski, the party animal. Don't call him DJ.
No, don't call him a DJ. He don't like that. No, he don't like that.
Celebrationist, he calls himself. Celebrationist. I've never heard that.
It fits. Look, it's culture. It's his culture. He's already setting up the idea that the cocktail party is going to be a huge celebration. He's not a DJ who's spinning records, playing other people's music. No, he's going to create a celebration type of an atmosphere, which is what everybody is going to be looking for after a whole day of Battle Plan, because, man, your brain's going to be full. It is going to be full of gold. I'm telling you, and I'm self-promoting right from when I started all the way to the last speaker of the day.
Angus Fox just showed up. Oh, Chris Hill, one of our exemplary speakers. Adam Ellithorpe. Craig Locker's on the sidebar. You know Craig?
I know Craig very well. Jim, you're going to have to figure out a way the next time that you're up around Philadelphia, you're going to have to jump onto Craig's podcast. He's doing fantastic things with the Recruiter podcast. I don't know if you've ever I'm sure you've listened to it already, but I don't know if he's reached out to you to be on it, but you should, without a doubt, you should be a guest on that show. Craig, put that together, man.
Craig's blackballed me on that thing. I've never been invited. Old news.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can find a way to mend to mend the fence if it needs some mending.
No, I'm kidding about that. He and I are great friends. I mean, that was humor. Wes Moon.
Wes
Jason
Moon.
Rice.
Wes Moon is one of my closest friends. I've known Wes Moon since I worked. My God, it's almost 30 years since I worked at the Asbury Park Press before I opened my advertising
Really?
agency in the early 90s.
Oh.
Wes Moon is a quality guy, man. Such a good dude.
Oh man. Of course, Jason Rice, Cheryl Lynn, Stephen Cruz. We got a great audience here. Okay, Internet Battle Plan, 20 speakers, www.internetbattleplan.com. Dealers, general managers can sign up free on the website. And I'm telling you right now, it's just an event you have to attend. The educational value, and every speaker will give you information you can take back and implement without hiring them. That's one of my stipulations. I don't mind my people selling on stage. We're all in the sales business, but they've got to give you something that you can take back and do without having to hire a vendor.
The thing that I love is, Jim, you say that the speakers are allowed to sell from the stage. And in all the times that I've been going, I've never seen anybody sell from the stage. What I've seen, no, you say that all the time. And I'm like, why does he say that? It makes no sense. But
I mean, it's allowed.
It's allowed, but what winds up happening is that every single speaker winds up delivering so much value from the stage. And like I said, everybody that's there knows what the hell they're talking about. There's no talking heads here. There's no rehearsed type of keynote things selling big ideas that don't go anywhere or anything. There's no sign up for my $9.95 6-month out online thing.
I talked about that yesterday. There's so many people in the speaking business, the consulting business, that are never wases, has-beens, never will be's. I mean, they got no track record. I just saw where some fool became a sales trainer today, and the guy was a failure in the car business. Now he's going to get out and teach other people how to do it. Come on, credit. I mean, I screen and there are people that would pay me a fortune to be on my stage. I mean, some big companies.
We've had those conversations.
I mean, if I was a criminal, if I were dishonest, I could be a lot wealthier than I am, because there's some big corporations, mega corporations, that I will not allow on my stage that would love to be on my stage. And that you can't buy your way up. Yeah, sponsors pay me, but guess what? I select who does and who doesn't for the quality of their content.
Absolutely. And I know that to be a fact. I know that to be 100% true. So look, if you're watching live, if you're watching on the replay, hit the share button right now if you haven't already. If you did already, hit it again. Make sure that it went through, okay? Hit that share button and make sure that as many people know about this event that's coming up. Make sure as many people can hear the gold that I spit out. That's only a sample. That's only a little bit. Okay, that's only an appetizer, and nobody cares about the appetizer. That's only an appetizer of what I'm going to be presenting at Battle Plan. Don't be late on day one. I'll take it personally offensive. We don't want to go down that road, okay? So don't be late for Battle Plan that on September 9th and 10th. The dessert is going to be so sweet. You are going to want to tell everybody about it. And that's just my talk. When we start to get into everybody else that's speaking on day one and on day two, I mean, Glenn Lundy comes up right after me, and Eric Gale, I believe, is on day one. Bobby Heron, there are just Lisa Copeland. We forgot. I can't believe it's almost the end of the show.
Copeland. I mean, she is the most unforgettable person in the world, Lisa.
That's right. Lisa's name has now been mentioned, so we've got.
I mean, she's a star. I mean,
she's an absolute star.
Oh my God. I mean, there's so many on the screen. Is that right?
On the screen?
Frank at fbdigital.com.
Oh, Frank. Oh, you're pointing over here and I'm looking. Frank at fbdigital.net.
.net. Oh, excuse me.
You can use Frank at fbdigital.net. You can email me at frank@getmorefrank.com. Just get in touch with me. That's much better. Now it'll actually come through.
Okay, so they can get in touch with you. You'll give them a marketing analysis of their dealership. You'll help them any way you can. I mean, you're a marketing agency. You're very unique.
You know what's so funny? We've been talking the whole time, and this is what winds up going on. A lot of people ask me why I don't talk that much at conferences about marketing and whatnot. Why I talk so much about other topics, and it's because the other topics are more important than the marketing at that point for most people. You know, you can hire any marketing agency you want in the world. You could have Jesus come down from heaven and do your marketing for you. But if you don't have all the other particular pieces of the puzzle in place, Jesus Christ could do your marketing. It's not going to increase your business. And he'll be the first one to tell you that as well. And just the same way that I will. So we're not just, if we get together, I'm not just working on marketing with you. I'm working on your culture. I'm trying to help you be a better person so that trickles down to everybody else. We're talking about your sales process. We're talking about performance. We're talking about all your employees. We're talking about all the stuff that actually sells cars after the marketing works. The marketing part's the easy, to be honest, that's the easy part of the equation.
You mentioned Jesus a minute ago. Did you know everybody assumes Jesus was a carpenter?
Right.
But he was actually in the clothing business.
Okay, how's that?
No, seriously.
Okay.
He had he was partnered with a seamstress. And they needed a name for the company, and they didn't want to call it Jesus and Seamstress, so they called it Lord and Taylor.
I knew you were going somewhere. I knew as soon as you said seamstress and company, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's my joke, Lord and Taylor. Yeah, okay.
That's actually a good joke. And don't forget, if you come to Battle Plan, Jim spits these jokes out like just at random all over the place. Though there's just a smattering of them that are just peppered all over the event. So and even
they're clean.
And they're clean. That's right. No cussing, no nothing like that.
You won't hear profanity. Frank will slip up every once in a while, but you hear very, very little profanity at Battle Plan.
I get caught up in the moment, and I tell somebody actually gave me some crap the other day, Jim. Maybe we should end with this because we're getting late. Somebody gave me some crap the other day on Facebook Messenger saying that on one hand, saying to me, one hand you talk about God, and then the other hand, I've heard you cuss before. And so I messaged back to the person. I said, thank you so much for watching. Number one, obviously they watched something that I did that they heard me cuss. If not, they would have never come to me with this. Right. And I said, number two, I'm not perfect. I'm a practicing Christian. I'm practicing at this. Okay. None of us are perfect. The people that go to church every single day, you think they go to mass every morning or they go to service every single day. You think they don't cuss in their head? You think that they don't have an impure thought? You think that even Jesus didn't have an impure thought? Come on now. We're all human.
I'm not the poster boy for the Methodist religion. I'm a work in progress. There are some people in our industry that have what I call a mouth full of Jesus and a heart full of deceit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some people putting it right out front. I'm a Christian. I don't run around wearing it where everybody can see it and be a Pharisee about it.
Either, right.
And I see some people in our industry that just make me want to, mouth full of Jesus, heart full of deceit.
Look, the pure intention comes out every single time. People pick up on that. When your intention is pure and your motives are pure and right, it comes out. At the same time, when you're deceitful, it comes out too. Sometimes it just takes a little longer. But no, it takes a little longer.
Battle Plan. We've been on 1 hour and 15 minutes, big guy.
That's it. I got a mortgage to pay, Jim. I got some things to do, man. And I know you got other things you want. Miss Debbie's probably waiting for you.
Cooking, and that is something I just smelling my kitchen is worthwhile.
I actually have to get to the airport.
Oh, well, anyway, folks, internet fan, call Frank at fbdigital.net. Have a great one.
Okay, see you later. Don't forget.